As we're now in fall, if you're a couple who had a wedding scheduled for the end of 2020 or early 2021, it's time to start thinking about your options if you haven't already. And if you're postponing, when are you going to postpone to? Today, we're talking about the big question, the really difficult big question. When will it be safe for you to have your wedding? Hi there, I'm Jamie Chan, your destination wedding planning guru and designer of joy at Mangome's Events, the creator of Passport to Joy, the step-by-step online wedding planning course for couples, and the founder of Let's I Do This, intimate and virtual weddings in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I share real and honest and useful wedding planning tips, tricks, and advice you can use to help make planning your wedding easier and more joyful so you can create a wedding you love. Because let's face it, wedding planning can be hard, super hard, especially now, and just a little painful or a lot painful, and nobody wants that. So we're bringing the joy back to wedding planning. Are you ready? All right, so let's dive in here. Now, back in, say, March or even May even, who would have thought that we would be where we are now? And when I say that, I mean we would be still here, still dealing with COVID, and that we'd still be struggling with controlling the spread. Certainly not me, and I bet not you either. But this is where we are, okay? And, COVID isn't going anywhere, fortunately. And, until we have a vaccine or a treatment, gatherings and weddings, sort of as we know and love them, just isn't going to be something that can happen. So, if you originally were planning your wedding, for the end of 2020, or perhaps you postponed to late 2020, or, even if your wedding is scheduled for early 2021, in the hopes that, things would be better by now, we're kind of at the point now where you need to start thinking about your options. And if you haven't already, and you may have started thinking about it, but it's really time now to start thinking about it, to start thinking about what you're going to do. Now, you have options, and that's kind of one of the great things happening right now. You have a lot of options, and I actually wrote a recent blog post about this, which you can find the links below on. It talks all about your options, and so you can check that out. But if you were always dreaming of this certain wedding and you're still dreaming about it and that's what you want, you've decided this is what I want, then, you're going to be waiting. And if you're waiting, that also means you're going to be postponing. And so, if you've already, say, postponed once or twice, you're sadly, kind of used to it at this point, which is an unfortunate thing to say. If you haven't yet postponed, we do have another video around postponement, which you should check out as well to help you through that. But beyond sort of how to postpone, right? The real question you're asking is when. When do you postpone to? And that's really sort of the $1 million question, isn't it? It's the question we all have on our minds, and not just with regards to weddings, really, because, we don't know. We don't know when a vaccine or a treatment is going to be approved and be safe to use. We don't know when one will be, easily available, readily available. We don't know, if it'll be affordable or when it will be affordable. There's a lot, unfortunately, we just don't know. And, while we learn more every day, and we know that, scientists are working super hard on it, we all have the hope that there will be a vaccine or a treatment come 2021, hopefully early 2021. But, we as in sort of the collective, we just don't know. And I don't know, I don't know either. And so you might be thinking, okay, so what's this video about? I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a time machine, but I can give you my best recommendation. And obviously, take this with that huge grain of salt because my recommendation obviously is not foolproof. Once again, I do not have a crystal ball. I wish I did. I do not have a time machine, which also would be kind of fun. Don't have that either. But, based on the information we do have and sort of how our government is operating, these are sort of my best guesses as of today. Okay? So here we go. If you want a completely, safe wedding where you don't have to worry about COVID restrictions, where it's exactly as, you imagine a wedding to be, as we all know weddings used to be. Okay? If you want that, then, I would suggest you postpone your wedding till at least late 2021. And, if you're having a destination wedding, I would say postpone until at least early 2022. And you might now be thinking, ugh, you might have this really? Your eyes might be bugging out of your head, because it's over a year from now. And I get it, it's a long time. But here's the thing. Remember that we not only need a reliable vaccine or treatment that works, that actually works, but one that's both easily available. You can get it. You don't have to wait. It's not something where you have to be on a sign-up sheet or something. And it's also something that you can afford. That's a big deal too. And those multiple things are a lot of boxes to check. And given that we, can't even supply enough PPE to our medical workers, even if we get a vaccine by the end of this year, 2020, which would be wonderful, right? Or early 2021, I think it's going to take some time to actually get it to people, to get it into people's hands. And I think because of that, it's important to push your wedding farther out. So I wouldn't even, consider a date before late 2021. I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind. Now, also to keep in mind is the farther you push your wedding out, the higher likelihood that you will be able to have the wedding that you want. And the less likely that you have to postpone again, which is huge, right? Who wants to do this 20 million times? Nobody. So it's really important to think about that time frame and push your wedding to the time frame that feels comfortable to you. Once again, I wouldn't consider anything before late 2021, but you have to think about it for yourself. Another thing to keep in mind is if traveling is something that's involved in your wedding, for example, us with a semi-destination wedding or a destination wedding, I would push your wedding even farther out. And the reason is because you also need time for people to feel comfortable and safe flying again and getting on a plane. And while you can certainly take into account, the length of travel required and the amount of people traveling, the smaller those numbers are, the easier it will be versus, say, 150 people all flying to an international country, right? So keep that in mind too. And once again, I don't have a crystal ball here, but if you're trying to decide when to postpone to, I'd really suggest pushing to late 2021 at the earliest, 2022 being even safer. Now, you can certainly ignore me and pick a sooner date. Like I said, you have to do what feels good for you. But just know that there's a much higher likelihood that you'll have to postpone again if you pick a sooner date. And, if you're okay with that, then once again, do what feels good for you. But, these are just my best recommendations that are hopefully the least painful as well. Now, one last reminder here, because I know there's a lot to think about, is just that you do have other options, as I mentioned before. So keep that in mind too, if the idea of pushing to, say, 2022 just does not float your boat, okay? And once again, I know you have a lot to think about. So if you have any questions, please leave it in a comment below. Be happy to talk to you further about it and see what we can do to help, okay? All right, if you enjoyed today's video, please like it, give us some thumbs up. You can check out our other videos, and please do for even more tips And please hit subscribe so you can get access to all the new ones. And if you want help through the entire wedding planning process, including access to a wedding advisor, check out Passport to join my online course. You can find the links below. Because you deserve to enjoy your engagement, no matter what your budget is and even in the middle of a pandemic. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you next time.